Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. My name is Kings Floyd. My pronouns are she, her. I am the Research and Policy Associate at the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative, or the DEJC, here at the Century Foundation. I present as a white female with brown glasses and brown hair using a power wheelchair. Today, I am in a pink scarf and a maroon blazer. We are here today to celebrate the one-year anniversary of the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative, or as many of you know, the DEJC, or the CoLab. You may be wondering, what is the CoLab? Especially because we're celebrating 1 year of progress. What progress did we make? So DEJC is a first of its kind initiative bringing together more than 40 leading disability rights and justice organizations, Washington, DC based think tanks, advocacy organizations, and top research and policy organizations committed to finally achieving economic security and justice for people with disabilities in the United States, more than 3 decades after the Americans with Disabilities Act became law. We are incredibly excited to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. As I've said, we are celebrating our 1 year of collective progress, and we will tell you about the progress we have made, as well as the progress we hope to make. We do have a saying here at the CoLab that I'm sure many of you are familiar with, but I'd like to bring forward anyways. It is the North Star of our team. So the phrase is, every policy is disability policy. What does that mean? For our team, it means that every policy that we come across, that we interact with, has an intersectionality with disability rights, with disability inclusion. Many of you would think of this analogy as the curb cut effect. A curb cut creates a more inclusive, equitable society by benefiting everyone, whether they're in a wheelchair, a stroller, a bike, whether they are a delivery person making a delivery with a dolly, even those electric scooters that cause their own accessibility issues, they create opportunities for those. Inclusive design and universal design as a foundational aspect of disability rights and disability inclusion is fundamental to creating a more equitable society. When you design things that are more accessible, you design everything for the better. And now I am absolutely thrilled to turn it over to Congressman Bobby Scott.
Hello, I'm Congressman Bobby Scott of Virginia's 3rd Congressional District, and I serve as the Democratic leader for the House Committee on Education and the Workforce. I want to congratulate the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative on its 1 year anniversary and its commitment to achieving economic security and justice for people with disabilities in the United States. As lawmakers and advocates, we have a responsibility to ensure that people with disabilities have access to a rewarding career. Unfortunately, the 14C sub-minimum wage provision under the Fair Labor Standards Act is a relic of an era when employers were legally permitted to discriminate against individuals with disabilities in the workplace, and workers with disabilities did not have access to federal protections. These certificates have effectively eliminated the minimum wage protections for workers with disabilities. For many of these workers, the estimated hourly wage is roughly $3.50, and for many, it's even less. It is far past the time that we phase out this harmful provision that denies equal opportunities for workers with disabilities. During my time in Congress, I've spent years dedicated to realizing a fully integrated and competitive workforce. In January, a GAO report found that employer and worker participation in the 14C program has declined. Further, we know that there are workers still struggling to find appropriate and meaningful alternatives. So in response, I reintroduced the bipartisan, bicameral Transformation to Competitive Integrated Employment Act. This bill would incentivize states and employers who currently use the 14C certificates to work with the disability community towards updating the business models and creating fully integrated and competitive employment opportunities. It would also ensure the availability of integrated services and supports that foster community integration. I'm hopeful that one day it can become law. In the meanwhile, I'm encouraged that more and more states are abandoning the 14C certificates. However, legislative progress is not possible without strong advocates, such as those at the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative, who have been a consistent voice for eliminating 14C and empowering people with disabilities. Together, we can ensure that Americans with disabilities have access to full participation in American life. So congratulations again, and thank you for your advocacy on behalf of people with disabilities.
Thank you, Congressman Scott, for your leadership in Congress and as a champion for people with disabilities across the United States. I'm Kimberly Nockstead, and I'm the director of the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative and director of our team at the Century Foundation.
And I'm Rebecca Vallis. I am a co-founder and a senior advisor to the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative. And we're thrilled to welcome you to this one-year anniversary event of the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative, marking a year of collective progress for disability economic justice.
Thank you to everyone for joining us today. We especially want to thank the more than 40 members of the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative for embarking on the journey we've taken over the past year.
This is the first time that a collaborative of this type has existed, bringing together leaders from across the think tank and research community, together with leaders across the disability rights and justice community to work together, learn from each other, and work collaboratively to bring a disability lens across all policymaking in the U.S. None of this work would be possible without the members who make up the collaborative. And so we're so excited to celebrate this first year with all of you.
We look forward to what will be an engaging and timely set of conversations today about where we've been, where we're at today, and where we're headed in this next chapter of work. And without further ado, we are thrilled to pass the mic to our president and CEO of the Century Foundation, Mark Zuckerman. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Kim and Rebecca, and welcome everybody. I'm so glad you could join us today. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Century Foundation, we are a progressive, independent think tank that drives policy change to improve people's lives. We pursue economic, racial, gender, and disability equity for all people in the country in education, healthcare, and work. Our economic team at TCF has been doing remarkable work to build an economy that works for everyone. A couple of years ago, we acted to address a critical piece of economic justice work that needed more attention at TCF, the direct perspectives and experiences of the 61 million people with disabilities. We've made it our anthem to ensure that the economy works for them too, because every policy is a disability policy. And we know that today our economy is failing disabled people. That's why a year ago, we celebrated the launch of the Disability Economic Justice Collaborative, an effort spearheaded by TCF's very own Disability Economic Justice team. Today, we celebrate a year of collective progress in bringing a disability lens to our economic policy.